Mr. Attorney General, the department, as we all know, has been mired in a controversy of late. It began with the reports of an overbroad collection of telephone records of 20 AP reporters and editors, was followed by revelations of a department-led espionage investigation of Fox News reporter James Rosen, and culminated in questions about the veracity of your testimony before the House Judiciary Committee. These issues have led some members of Congress and the public to question the department's adherence to the rule of law and your ability as the Attorney General to lead. These controversies have become, I believe, a significant distraction for this department and have led to calls for an investigation into your actions and the actions of your department. Others have even called for your resignation. Mr. Attorney General, I hope you would agree that leading the Department of Justice is a full-time job. I think you would also agree that these controversies have become a distraction for the department and for you as its leader. I hope you would agree that the American people deserve an Attorney General who is completely focused on the fair and impartial administration of justice and not distracted by controversies of his own making. I've observed over the years that effective leaders from time to time subject themselves to self-evaluation process in hopes of improving their performance. How would you, Mr. Attorney General, evaluate your performance to date, if you could, and is there any room for improvement? And have you or will you take actions to move the department beyond this controversy, and how ensure that similar missteps and the cloud will not continue there?
Well, I first want to assure you and the American people that in spite of the recent controversies that you mentioned, the department is fully engaged in the work of protecting the American people in all the ways that are unique to the department. I also want to assure the American people and you as well that I am fully engaged in that regard. And sure, I go through a self-evaluation process almost on a daily basis. I have not done a perfect job. I think I've done a good job, but I'm always trying to do better. Some of the criticism that has been labeled or thrown at me and at the department has caused us to rethink, for instance, the way in which we're going to deal with these media inquiries, and we'll make changes. And that's one of the reasons why we are engaged in a process now, meeting with media groups, so that we can formulate new policies, new regulations, and hopefully get that behind us.
I believe, Mr. Attorney General, and I hope you would agree with me, that the American people need to know that the administration of justice headed by the Attorney General is in the hands of a dispassionate and capable leader. And whether you will continue to be the chief law enforcement officer of the federal government, the Attorney General, is either decision for you or the President to make. I understand that. I'm interested to know what criteria you will use to determine whether you can continue to lead the department. In other words, what's the tipping point here? Are you going to clear up this controversy, or is it going to hover over us in the Justice Department, which is very important to the American people?
The tipping point might be fatigue. You get to a point where you just get tired. But sure. beyond that, you know, the tipping point, I mean, I try to, there are certain goals that I set for myself and for this department when I started back in 2009. When I get to a point where I think that I've accomplished all the goals that I set, I will sit down with the President and we'll talk about a transition to a new Attorney General. I think the change is frequently a good thing for an organization, a new perspective. I'm not a person who, this has been the honor of my professional life to serve as Attorney General, but I also have such respect for the Department of Justice that I want to make sure that it operates at peak efficiency and that new ideas are constantly being explored. I'm proud of the work that I've done. I'm proud of the work that the men and women of this department have done under my leadership. And when the time comes for me to step aside for my successor, I will do so.